Hey YouTube, welcome back to New Rock City. I'm your host Stephen Moss, and each week I bring you a brand new band, interview them, and play some of their music. Tonight we're ending out season 1 with episode 20, and we're bringing you a band from Warrington, England called Passionflower. So tonight on the show we have Kyle Richardson Nickel from the band Passionflower. Kyle, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Normally I have my guests introduce themselves, say what they do in the band, but in your case, you are the band.
Yeah, I am very much the band.
I thought that was interesting. You have a quote about that I thought was pretty cool. You said, "Life's too short to wait around on other people." So you started Passionflower all by yourself. That's pretty brave of you to go out and just start a one-man band. What was your epiphany moment when you decided to take that leap of faith and do it on your own?
I guess it's when I started Passionflower as being Passionflower, because I've been doing loads of different projects over the years without a band. Like the last time I was in a fully committed band was like 2012. So that's like a long time to just kind of sit by and watch other people be successful and, have fun and make really good music. Like I decided, I've got songs that I like and that should be in the world, and maybe other people might like them as well. It'd be a shame for me to just sit and wait for other people to want to jump on the opportunity with me. So I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. The writing process must be kind of intense, though, I would think, because you're writing each part for each instrument. How do you balance wearing all those hats, man?
It's a struggle, to be honest. Doing everything by myself, like having to deal with all the creative side and then doing all the business stuff, is quite a struggle. And I couldn't even tell you how I managed to juggle it all, because sometimes it just becomes so overwhelming for me to do. But I like to test out my metal, and I like to, push myself to do different things. And I guess it's from a creative side, I like just to, I can hear the song in my head anyway. So it's just kind of using that blueprint I've got and then going along with that and then seeing what works and what doesn't. So it's kind of a process of elimination, so to speak.
I read that the idea for Passionflower actually came about 10 years ago. Is that true?
Yeah. So I started gigging under a acoustic project called Young Cardinal, which had varying levels of success, like nowhere near as well as I'm doing now with Passionflower. I kind of was writing songs for other people rather than just writing songs that I enjoyed. It was sort of like a validation trip where I was writing to like get people to sort of notice me and like me, rather than writing what I actually felt and how what I feel and, cool music I enjoyed listening to. So it was kind of a weird mix of genres rather than it just being kind of a linear kind of sound. Passionflower didn't really get started until about 4 years ago. So it's kind of since then that I wouldn't say take it more seriously, but I've kind of changed up my approach to how I do things. It's not professional, really. It's kind of, right, I need to do this, and this, rather than, oh, I could do this or I could do that. It's kind of more of a one-track linear thing rather than different things altogether.
The first single that you put out as Passionflower was Cheer Up Charlie. And I read that song was actually written when you were just 16. Is that true? What's the story behind that?
Oh, so it was a lot of family turbulence. It was basically this. It was like the summer I had just left high school. All my friends from high school have just kind of gone in different places. We went to different like colleges and different sixth forms. My relationship with my mum at the time wasn't stellar, and it was kind of this stems from feeling quite abandoned by loads of different people.
Gotcha.
And it's just kind of how I felt at that time. But obviously, being 16, everything's just a big old melodrama, like episode of Dawson's Creek or something. Everything's just kind of way more intense than it needs to be. So I just wrote this really angsty song about it.
Well, very cool. I wanted to play that one since that was your first single. Here is Cheer Up Charlie by Passionflower.
angel. Remember, she will be home one day to tuck you into bed again. Charlie, my boy, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just trying to protect you from who you will become. And I never will smile till the end of time. But always know that I'm dying inside. I'm dying inside. Charlie, don't be angry. It's been 10 years since I last saw you. How are you? How have you been? I know you're dreaming, but I'm leaving, and I won't be back again. And now you're older and colder, and I'm sorry for what I did. Charlie, my boy, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just trying to protect you from who you will become. And I never will smile till the end of time. But always know that I'm dying inside. And I must confess that I wasn't enough to save you from yourself, from your self-destruct. Now my life is just a mess, and I know what to blame. If I could turn back the clock, I would save us from the pain. But crying won't save us now. The guilt is too far gone. All I feel is darkness now. I don't wanna be alone. 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 Charlie, my boy, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just trying to protect you from who you will become. And I never will smile till the end of time. But always know that I'm dying inside. Charlie, my boy, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just trying to protect you from who you will become. And I never will smile till the end of time. But always know that I'm dying inside. Dying inside. Dying inside. Dying inside. I'm dying inside.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. Now, Kyle, we kind of touched on this, but in the past, you were in other bands. You actually played bass in a band called A Kid Called Danger. And I looked up some of your old songs and shows on YouTube, and there was one that kind of stuck out to me. You had a bass malfunction. Do you
did.
remember that?
I do, yes.
Because I've asked other bands, how do they deal with, mess ups on stage, and they'll say, like, well, I either, missed a note, or if the singer says, I forget the lyrics, I'll just have, the crowd sing along. But you actually lost your entire instrument. How do you come back from
I
that?
did. That was a wild. That was like our first show as a band.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, it was the first show as a band, and I was getting super into it. And I was like, "Yeah, this is amazing." I did the bass spin. I didn't invest in strap lock, and it was just a whole thing. The bass just virtually slid straight off the stage. Almost hit a kid in the face. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh
no.
no, don't do that."
So the video kind of cuts out there, so you never see how you recover. Did you just? It kind of make it seem like the band just kept playing. So did you just pick up your bass and just keep
Yeah, I
keep
literally
going?
ran to the end of the stage and picked it up and just like, very quickly tuned back in. I was like, "All right, I'm back in. I'm back in tune with everyone else. I'm doing good. I'm doing bits."
That's hilarious. Also, as you already brought out a little bit, you had an acoustic side project called Young Cardinal. And one thing I found really interesting when I was reading about Young Cardinal, you were asked about the differences. And you said, back then, I didn't write songs for me. I wrote to make other people like me or want to be around me. With Passionflower, I write for myself. I write what I want to hear and what I feel. If other people can relate, that's just icing on the cake. That's a really powerful statement. How do you feel that your songs have benefited with your new outlook on writing?
Just more cathartic. Like I enjoy that vulnerability that I can bring to my music, and it's kind of in a way like a therapy to me. Like if I'm having a bad time or if I'm in a bad spot, then I can just pick up my guitar and just write how I feel. Because in fact, I don't get to talk to as many people as I would like pre-coronavirus and then kind of during. So it's kind of a good way for me to document how I'm feeling. I suppose is the best way to go about it. Probably not the healthiest way to deal with my issues, but it's a good coping mechanism. And then it works out that when I'm playing these shows or I'm releasing these singles, people can relate to that. And that for me is like such a huge thing. One of the most important things is that those people then don't feel a little less alone, and that they can, even if we've never met or we've never talked before, they can know me quite intimately more than some people have known me for like say 10 or 15 years, which I think is very powerful, because that's how I feel with some of the songs and artists that I've listened to growing up, where I've been going through a bad spot and pops on like Fall Out Boy or My Chemical Romance and be like, that's some dark stuff, but it's relatable and it's transferable. And I enjoy that so much. It's such a big part of why I continue to make music after all these years, because I feel like if I can make someone feel a little less lonely through my music, then I'm doing something worthwhile.
In line with that, in line with how your writing style has changed, I was curious about your music overall. How would you describe the growth of your music over the years?
That is a question. I guess sort of more melodic and yet more heavy. I guess I know what I want from my music. I know what the sound is I'm after, rather than just kind of going, oh, this could work, or maybe this could work, or maybe this could work. I kind of have more of a manuscript of what I'm after from my music sound wise, but then it shifts a lot. So I guess the best kind of example I can give of that is like from the 3 singles that I've released currently. Like they all sound like they're related, yet they all sound different. So it's kind of because I don't like to be like pigeonholed into being like just this one sound, because I think sometimes when bands just kind of do just one sound and that's their sound, which is great, but it kind of stops them from being able to grow in some senses. Like they've found the niche and then that's the niche. They don't want to experiment so much. But I find that I like to switch up it just a little bit, like by like a degree or so, just so not every song sounds exactly the same.
One thing that stood out to me when I was listening to your music was actually the lyrics. Your music is very honest and raw, and many of your lyrics focus on like things like emotional strife, family issues, like you mentioned. How do you balance wanting to be open and honest, yet making sure you're not too vulnerable? Where's that line for you?
I think it's not about not being too vulnerable, because actually I find that the more honest you are with your audience, the more they're able to connect with you, which I again, that's something I enjoy. I enjoy connecting with my audience in like such a intimate level. Obviously there's things that I won't particularly write about, because I feel like we ain't there yet. I've not reconciled it in my own head, so really no one else needs to know about these issues either. Kind of like a curtain, where you pull back the curtain enough for people to just kind of looking, but you don't want people to just walk straight behind the curtain. It's kind of opening up gradually and gradually and gradually. And it's kind of, as you know, I'm progressing making music, kind of the music gets more open and more honest, because actually,
Gotcha.
if I think back to when, say, for instance, Cheer Up Charlie, even though that song is quite an open and raw song, it's not as open or raw as it could have been, because
Gotcha.
at 16, I couldn't quite process what my emotions were. But now, as like a 28-year-old man, I'm more world weary, and I can, know what I'm feeling a bit more. So I guess
That makes sense.
that kind of works out like that. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of the veil of you can look inside, but don't walk into the bazaar just yet. Maybe one day you'll get in the bazaar, but not quite yet.
I wanted to congratulate you because in January of this year, the alternative press had an article called 10 Unsigned Emo Bands to Keep an Eye On in 2021. And you were featured in that article. That's amazing, man. Congratulations.
Oh,
How
thank
did
you very
that
much.
how did that come about?
I don't actually know. Like, I just got told, yep, you're in this. I'm in a few different music forums, so I kind of spread my music around a lot. And I think the writer of the article, Elena, kind of just noticed my music and wrote about it. And yeah, that was completely.
That's pretty cool. So you didn't know about it until they reached out and said, "Hey, we want to feature you?"
I didn't even actually know until I was tagged in a post
Oh, wow.
on Instagram. So then that was like a really happy surprise, and like I was just in bed, just kind of like, oh my god, no way, just like kind
So
of.
so at the time you were tagged, the article was already published. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't know at all until after everything was already done with.
Yeah, a
Gotcha.
complete surprise,
Gotcha.
and I was freaking out hard.
That's
like,
amazing. Wow. I actually wanted to read what they said about you because I thought that was pretty impressive. That article says, if you're not listening to Passionflower, go ahead and change that now. The 2000s post-hardcore influence behind their sound is obvious, making them an easy new favorite for any fan of nostalgic emo. That's some high praise, dude. And then they went on to share my favorite song by you. They played the lyric video for Neverland, which I want to play as well. But before I do, what can you tell us about that song?
So that song, out of the 3 singles that are out already, is probably one of the most open and honest songs I've ever written in my entire life. Because when I was writing it, I was in such an awful, horrible place. Like, I just didn't want to be around. I'd recently lost a friend to the mental health battle. My nan, my grandma, was really sick and on her way out of life. I was jobless, and I was in a not great living situation. So everything kind of felt really hopeless. So I just kind of wanted to disappear, and I kind of wasn't sure if that disappearing from my hometown, the country, or the actual planet. Like, I wasn't certain of what I wanted to do. I was kind of at a
Gotcha.
weird crossroads in life, and kind of writing that song kind of really just helped me to negate those feelings, and kind of, it was just such a good outlet to release all that negative emotion I was feeling at the time.
A lot of people can relate to that, and so I want to go ahead and play that for everyone. So here is Neverland by Passionflower.
Take my hand, run away with me tonight. Let's forsake all of our pain. I'll leave this city down behind. Did you everything I need? Your heart is my home. Wherever we will be, we will never be alone. So take me away to a faraway place where nobody knows my face.
welcome back to the show. In episode 9 of our show, we had Dustin from Two Eyes Open on, and you recently collaborated with him on his single Laguna Inc. What was that process like for you?
It was really, really fun to do actually. Because I've seen Dustin around a few different music forum groups that we're both in, and then we became sort of good friends, and we kept messaging like songs to each other, and then he just hit me up one day and was like, hey man, I've got this song, and I'd be honored to have you like feature on it. And I was just kind of ecstatic because I rarely do features for people, like people rarely ask me to do, so I was kind of really honored that he trusted me to be a part of this song that he was precious to him. What was interesting is because obviously we're in two different continents, like he obviously lives in the US and I'm from the UK, so I kind of just recorded my bits in my room here at home and then just kept sending bits over to him to kind of be like, oh, is this all right, is this good? And he's like, yeah, it's like, but I could do it better. Yeah, no, and it's like, right, I'm gonna just do a better one. And then it's kind of we went through sort of the process of him showing me mixes and getting like my opinion. I'd be like, all right, that's good, but maybe this or maybe that could be improved. And then it was just really fun. And that song's such a good song, and I'm so happy to be a part of that because it sort of ties into my latest single, because they're even though they're different songs, it's about the same film, which I thought was kind of crazy because I think that was the thing that really solidified our friendship, was actually we have such a love for the same film, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Did you know you were both writing a song about that movie?
Yeah, until prior to that we had no idea.
That's
and
cool.
then he's like, oh hey man, I'm writing this song, and it was like, oh by the way, it's about Eternal Sunshine. I was like, what? And I was like, so this is a bit crazy, but hear me out. This song I wrote 3+ years ago is also about Eternal Sunshine, and it's just coincidental that we ended up releasing them like within a week of each other. But I think that's actually really nice how it works out, because essentially you're getting the same story, but like kind of different degrees of it as well. So I thought that was actually pretty sweet.
You have collaborated with other artists before. That wasn't your first time?
I've done like little bits and pieces, but nothing to the scope of what I did with Dustin from Two Eyes.
Very cool.
That was like a first proper collaboration where it was more, I was in it more.
Gotcha. I want to play another song from you. What can you tell us about the song Picture Perfect?
Oh, Picture Perfect. This song is such a weird song for me for so many different reasons. So actually, I wrote this song in a dream.
Oh wow!
Like which is absolutely insane. Like the song was playing in my brain in a dream, and then I woke up and just ran to the other side of the room and grabbed my phone, picked up a guitar, and just started like properly writing the song out. And
that's cool.
It's just absolutely crazy how the writing process came about. It's about a girl that I had a major thing for, and how like basically she doesn't see the beauty in herself, or she doesn't see what you see.
Gotcha.
And just doubts themselves and doubts their worth and doesn't think that they're attractive, but actually for you they are everything. They are picture perfect. Like there's no, even the smallest flaw isn't enough for you to deter you from wanting to be with this person.
Very nice. So here is Picture Perfect by Passionflower.
Can you remember the 12th of December when you took my hand, made me want to fly, so happy I could die. My spirit was soaring to early next morning when you held me close, told me not to leave, 'cause I was your everything. If I could paint you a picture to show you beauty, I would. Give me the words and I'll sing you a melody.
welcome back to the show. Later on this year, you'll have a full-length album coming out called To Bloom is to Grow. How's the process going on that? Are you still on a good timeline for this year?
Yeah. Essentially, the album is done. Like,
Oh, nice.
It's all mixed, it's all mastered. It's just all the little extra bits that need to be done. So it's like sorting out promotional materials, getting the physical media side of it done, just so I can ensure that it's going to be a successful release. Because actually, I funded everything myself. Like, I didn't have like a label or management or actually other band members to help me fund this. So it's been a really big financial investment, which I felt and still feel like it was worth it, because I'm so proud of how it all sounds and how it all worked out. So yeah, I should be on track for by the end of the year. I've sort of been toying with a date. Because every time I get asked questions like, oh, when are you dropping the album? I'm just like, oh, I don't know, at some point. But I'm working on solidifying an actual day to release the album. So hopefully I'll be able to announce that fairly soon.
Now, at the time of the article that I was reading, it said that there was going to be 8 songs on the album. Has that changed, or can you talk about that at all?
So it is still going to be 8 songs. I'm one of them people. I always write songs. I wrote like 3 songs this week.
Wow.
There's a lot of songs that I wrote over the last year that kind of still fit with what the album's trying to say and the kind of the sound and the theme. So it might be a case of I just might release the initial 8 tracks, but then actually I might release some extra bit as sort of like a companion piece to it, because I feel like 8 songs is long enough for an album. Like it runs at about half an hour, and I feel like we're in a time of singles, so not everyone has like the attention span to just sit and listen to like a really long album. Hopefully it's one of those that can keep people's attention long enough to listen to all 8 songs.
So the singles you have out right now, are they a part of the album, or are they going to be standalone singles?
So they are part of the album.
What about plans for like a full band? How is that?
Yeah, it's very achievable. I've actually sort of got the members of the band. It's just waiting for
nice
to get the go ahead to start practicing and locking in the performance side.
Oh, very cool.
So that's very exciting for me, because I've been wanting to be in a band now for like 10 years, and it's just kind of been the thing I've been grinding towards, because really initially I wanted Passionflower to be a band, but it never turned out that way. But now it's the opportunity for it to be a band. And it feels like it's the right time for it. I feel like I've done enough of the footwork and the grind for when the band becomes a fully fledged thing that we can succeed a lot better.
Well, that'll be good timing. Because then by the time your album comes out and you're ready to like tour on that album, you'll have a full band to be able to do so. That's awesome. Your latest single was released on March 27th, and it was called Joel and Clementine. What can you tell us about that song?
So that song is semi-biographical and semi-based on Eternal Sunshine. It's about a toxic relationship where, even though it's a bad time and a bad situation, you kind of locked in the nostalgia of when that relationship was good. So you want to kind of stay in that relationship because it's comfortable, even though it's not necessarily the best thing to do. And it's just a situation where you could try and make each other happy and, metaphorically save the other person. But that person's in such a bad state that they won't allow you to do that.
So here is Joel and Clementine by Passionflower.
I wish that I could just forget you face this place, all of my regrets. Just when I think that hope again, you let the bottle take over, and maybe your life could have been preserved if I wasn't so reserved from this cautious heart. You saved me from myself, so I could give
and welcome back to the show. So, besides the album, what can your fans expect in 2021? What can they look forward to?
More shows. Obviously, the live music has been a bit hit and miss, obviously, the last year because of COVID. The UK slowly but surely opening things up to enable that we can, do these shows. So I'm, trying to book some really good shows. So hopefully get to more places that I didn't play before COVID. So I guess it's more of the wide, I'll casting a wider net of people, and then people who wanted to see me but couldn't get to see me because I didn't go to them places can now go. Well, actually, now I'm in those places, so I'm looking forward to that because it's just I find playing live really exciting, and I've missed it so much. It's like it's the serotonin I've been missing the entire 12 months. So it's that. Hopefully, doing a few more collaborations with other people, maybe some standalone singles, depending on timing. Because obviously I'm quite busy with the sort of album run. But I'm hoping I've got a few more time to release a few more other songs as well, just because I write so much and it's getting to a point where, yeah, I should probably work on more songs because all these songs I started recording were like 2-3 years ago. So I gotta let the people know I've improved in some way, shape, or form. There's a new single coming in June. It's a different one than the stuff I've dropped before, but a good different. I'm trying to be as cloak and dagger about it as I can, not give away the game too much. But yeah, it's a song I enjoy a lot, and it's another quite open mental health jam. I'm looking forward to that being released.
In the description, I'll have a link below for all of your social media platforms so people can reach out to you. The last part of the show, I just like to open it up to you and say, what would you like to say to your fans?
Yeah, I'd like to just thank everyone for being so cool and supporting me and, really welcoming me into the scene. Like, I basically have been doing this for so long and I've just felt kind of not a part of anything, but kind of really the last 12 months have made me feel more connected to people than I ever have. And I'm just really honestly thankful for that.
That's
I'm
awesome.
thankful to all the people who take the time to listen to my therapy tapes, essentially. I'm thankful to people who do listen to the songs and then reach out and tell me how them songs feel to them and how they interpret them, because actually that's really important to me that they've connected in such a way. Thankful to all the publications and people who like yourself who are interested in little bands and give us the platform to be able to promote ourselves and reach new people, because that's also really important. And a lot of people just take them things for granted. Like, everyone's so focused about making it and being a big band and X, Y, and Z, that actually they forget about the journey to do those things and the people you meet along the way that actually do support you in the long run. So I'm thankful to people like you who give me the time of day to be able to speak my piece, to be honest.
Well, as you mentioned, like it's a great scene, very welcoming. So many of the people that I've had on my show, I've met from Facebook groups, and
Mm.
like we've talked about, they collaborate with each other. It's a very welcoming community, and it's really cool that everyone has taken a bad situation like COVID, like the lockdown, and made something positive. A lot of great music, a lot of great bands are back, and it's a really cool thing in music right now.
Yeah, I think, you know, COVID really has messed a lot of things up, but in a way, I'm kind of thankful for it,
Yeah.
because actually it's given me more time for me to hone my craft. Like, I can write, I've been writing stronger songs and been able to think about things that I didn't really think about and consider before. And actually, it pushed me to release music because I've been
Gotcha.
sitting on these songs for so long, kind of worrying what people's perceptions were. And then, the threat of maybe an imminent death at some point in the near future
Yeah.
kind of was like, life's too short to just wait around again. So
Exactly.
maybe do something with all the stuff you've been holding on to. And actually, that thought kind of pushed me to just start releasing music and getting things out. So thanks, COVID, I suppose. Thank you.
Well, for those watching at home, thank you so much. This has been an awesome first season. Thank you to all the bands that have been on the show. I'll have a link below so you can follow Passionflower throughout his journey and the band's journey. Tune in next week for the start of season 2 when we have the Dolly Rots on the show. And Kyle, Thank you so much for stopping by, man. It was a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I wish that I could just forget if it did play on my regrets. Cause when I think it over again, you let the bottle take over. Maybe your love couldn't be preserved if I wasn't so reserved from this conscious.